Hi class, I wanted to give you some video feedback. I'm going to look at these as a first-time site visitor, even if I've looked at them, and we'll be looking at the usability, the layout, how well the instructions were met so that you get in the right place. And then you'll make these revisions next week. What you'll do is you'll duplicate this site and make your edits to your second copy or your copy. So I really like the font that I'm seeing here. A little hard to read this. If it could be a little clearer, that'd probably be great. But this is super clear, and you've linked up, and that's great. The logo, I like the logo. I do. The only problem with the logo, or the thing I'm challenged by, is I don't get media out of it. Maybe I'm overlooking something, but it feels like wine. And I get that it's supposed to, but the media, I'm not sure I understand how that's connected. Make sure this is not a home address. And let's see. Okay. Might want to, if you're going to cut something out like that, we got to do really soft edges. Okay. Be mindful of all caps. Really hard to read. Okay. Otherwise, it's really great contrast and easy to make it out, and that's good. I want to make sure we are centering everything, so this is going to come over. Okay. I really like how you did this. You might find another thumbnail for that, right? Let's see. Okay, remove this image. That's a placeholder. Good with this. And you'll probably want to put your social links here too. All right. And make sure you have your email link. Okay. Let's look at the mobile. Okay, a little hard to read the name, but we discussed that. Okay, that image isn't showing up very well here. Let's see. But you have just the right amount of content. This image, if you were to crop it and not have so much black space over it, we'll go back and look at that again, then maybe that would work. And it wouldn't look like it's being, cropped and cut out. Yeah, careful of the all caps. Check your links here. You could provide a little more description. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. All right. Nice work. Let's go back and look at that. Oops. So when we go to your about, yeah. Maybe you can find a way to fill that in a little bit. Probably on your mobile, you can, make it more of a square. But that's the thing you want to work with there. All right, great start. Let's look at the next one. Okay. Love the photo. Just the right amount of content. Might not need this again. You have it here. This, hard to read, right? I'm not sure what that says, so we want to be really careful with logos. You would probably want to bring that over here. Maybe, Yeah, try bringing that right over here, centering it with this if you're going to keep that, and see how that plays out, whether or not that can come over here or this could roll onto the next line. Just checking that out. Good job down here with your copyright. And yeah, okay. All right. We've got a couple of different fonts, I think. We'll see. This is probably maybe a little small. Make sure you're working in 100% view, because that sometimes can throw us off. Yeah, 13 is small. You want to go at least 16 here. Make sure we have the same vertical spacing, equal spacing there. But otherwise, you're doing a really good job with this. Just a little bit of spacing and then larger text a little bit, but good job with your descriptions. Okay, let's try not to crop that. So probably bring this down a little bit, or that up just a little, so we've got a little bit of space before we get to this color block. You can try and close out a little bit, making sure if there's nothing in the way, it won't go, we won't be able to toggle this and drag it up if there's anything at all in the way. It could be an element we can't see, it could be, something that we need to delete, but you may want to pull that up a little bit. Good job linking up. All right, let's look at the mobile. All right, good. We don't block that. That happens sometimes. You may not need both your addresses. Probably just use your Gmail. And of course, any change you make to your desktop is going to show up on your mobile, but changes you make on your mobile will not show up necessarily, will not show up on your desktop. And close that up. A little more space here and here. And make sure we have the right paragraphs under the correlating example, right? Video. Okay. All right. Okay, nice job. Probably center these. All right, move those over so they align here. Good job. And we'll see how these play out next week. You don't have a lot of edits, some important ones, but not a lot. So let's move to the next one. Nice job, Dakota. Great photo, very professional. You want to link up at least to LinkedIn. People will look for you there. A little bit of space here. Okay. Okay. You may want to center this content a little. We have space down here. Okay. But great job including descriptions. Okay. Make sure that is a free Google Voice. Good job. Let's see. It may be different for emails, but and you used your name, which is good, rather than a company name, because we want to make sure if we use a company name at all that it's registered with the state and up to date with its fees. So I don't get that feeling here that you're, promoting a name of a company that you don't own, but many times students will just kind of come up with a company name and put it in there, which isn't professional, because someone else could even have that name. All right, nice work. Let's look at the mobile. A little space here, right? We're cutting that off a little. You want your form, perhaps close this up and let's see. Yeah, I would wrap this up here. I'm not sure you need that box. If you do, maybe you take it to the full width. If you made this a little smaller, it might not wrap like that. But of course, you'd have to make the rest the same size. Let's make sure we make the navigation bars higher contrast so we can see those. Great photo. Yeah, you want to work with some of the spacing up here. Good. That works. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. These are linked. Good job. All right. Let's look at one more. Right. Gavin. Nice. Let's maybe bring this over just a little. Make this text box wider. All right. So we don't come all the way down here and we come a little closer to the image. Okay, let's reduce, if you can, if you know, it may be a background that needs to be removed, but that white, but probably you just need to make the footer shorter, not so deep. Let's go ahead and, you know, make that background of the header opaque 100%, right? And then we won't have this overlapping. Okay, you're just going to go in there and adjust the background of the header, the color, the fill. Okay, let's remove the bullet here because I feel like these, you know, these seem to be the titles. So let's not put a bullet there. And I would say remove the bullets altogether. Bullets are for lists, and this isn't quite a list. But yeah, that's what I would do. Let's remove the bullets altogether. And make sure you have equal vertical spacing here. But it's nice and clean. And that's what you want. You want to be able to focus on your work. Okay. Great job. Let's look at the mobile. Okay. And again, you probably don't need your student email there. Okay. It's a good shot. Might go in and clean that up with Photoshop, some of the slight blemishes on the background there. All right. Okay, so when you make those edits in your desktop and remove those, and you'll want to come back over and see how things are laying out on your mobile here. Right. So great job. Everybody's doing really well, following instructions to the T. Really excited to see where you are. And if you feel that it's too plain, you know, again, after you submit everything next week and you're on your own, you can just duplicate your site again and you can go in and play with the background color. I would be very cautious around gradients or radial gradients in particular because they can be very amateurish to look at and they don't really, they distract a lot. So, but you can, you know, you should go ahead and play with it even if it's just a gray background or anything like that, but you do want to make sure you have very high contrast. This week, you're going to be looking at accessibility for your sites, and that will teach you a lot about how to design your site for usability, so that when you do go to use color or do anything like that, you'll have a better understanding of why you want to keep it simple. All right, so well done. I'm looking forward to seeing these. Please reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. All right, great job.